Well, I have a few things to discuss today, and I just cracked open a beer, which is, well, quite frankly, what I normally do. My alcoholism aside, I have two topics to discuss today. Two articles. So, two for the price of one. Don't say I never give you guys anything now. But, anyway, let's dive into the first article. And it's cancer. God damn, what the fuck did I get myself into? But, for the record, I will be taking these from more than one article related to this matter, and always links will be in the description if you wish to read them yourselves. But anyway, this particular section is from a Washington Post article, and by virtue of its name alone, we know this is going to be an interesting read. Now, while I disagree with Trump on certain things, I'm not going to pretend like he's any more mentally unstable than name a fucking president. I mean, you have Obama with his fake crying, and you have Bush with his propensity for starting wars. So, take your fucking pick of the last two. Well, I could go into a previous one, but that's a fucking debacle I'm not willing to open up right now. I'm not touching that Pandora's box. But, let us go on. Now, I'm just going to start this off with a rather simple observation. Could this be based solely upon the fact that these people do not like Trump as a president? Dichotomy and bipartisanship comes to mind, but of course it could be, but I don't have the essays to say otherwise. Also, I maintain a certain amount of skepticism. I hate using that term. Anyway, whatever. I am usually pretty skeptical of psychiatry because it's not necessarily the hardest of sciences, But that aside, let's talk about this, quote, narcissistic personality disorder, sociopathy, and other issues, end quote. I'd argue that in order for a person to vie for a public office, especially one like the White House, as much of the limelight as it is, they must have some level of narcissistic tendencies. After all, when elected, you become the center of attention for the nation, basically. But hey, I'm no psychologist, so take what I say with a very large grain of salt here. As for sociopathy, Trump is quite social and doesn't seem to exude the markings of a sociopath. Quite the opposite, realistically, but after I showed a few of these little snippets, let's take a look at the other side. As you can see here in an article written by Michael Smirkonish. I probably butchered that name. So sorry for that. But as you can see, it states that the American Psychiatric Association adopted what is called the Goldwater Rule, which says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer professional opinion unless he or she has conducted an examination and has been granted proper authorization for such a statement. So, it dawns on me. These psychiatrists are making a decision about someone without actually conducting a proper test. Additionally, without knowing what Trump is like behind closed doors. Seems odd to me, and I'd point to the bipartisanship of the country and the possibility that they just simply don't like him again. Some would call that a mental disorder. But I digress. Moving on to the next topic. I wanted to have a little fun today, so I present, present tense, this dumb shit. Yep, the lefty types telling people how to live never ceases to result in some subtle chuckles as they advocate for the freedom of women's bodies until it involves motherhood. But let us delve deeper into this shit show, shall we? Okay, cunt. Just because a sentiment is seldomly heard doesn't mean it's any less of a cunty sentiment to have. I could say, I think people shouldn't have to use their signal lights. Doesn't mean that I'm a disgusting fucking human being for saying that. Use your fucking signal lights, people. But it's because it's their choice to have kids. Your approval isn't needed or wanted for that matter. But going on from that, the reality is some people find life fulfillment in procreation. It's not uncommon, seeing as it kind of makes sense biologically, seeing as it's how we pass on our traits, and eventually one would hope, evolve and grow. Did the recent years show evidence of, the opposite of that? But that's a topic for another time. But hey, maybe I just haven't spent enough time being brainwashed in a gender studies class to deny simple biology. But let us continue this long walk off a tall cliff. Damn. And here I thought self-awareness was dead amongst millennials. Nah, it's a rotting corpse in the ground, dug up every now and again to be killed again. Somehow. I'll let you figure that one out. Anyway, this dumb cunt isn't aware of the dropping birth rate overall in America. And ignoring that birth rates are far higher in, let's say, India and China. Or that overall the birth rate is dropping on average across the planet. But let's ignore that and go after some celebrity couple for the sake of, I don't know, they have job security, wealth, free time, and they seem to enjoy having kids. If the aim is population control, well, you're a little behind the times, as I've shown before. Or maybe, I don't know, you just want to be a virtue signaling fucking cunt. I'm going to go with the latter. Oh my god. Quote, as a feminist, I tend to oppose any cultural conversation that involves telling a woman what to do with her body. But, yeah, that's a big fucking butt, you cunt. And I don't mean that in the sexual, or not sexual organ, but the physical part of your body. But I mean that in the big, well, I wouldn't be the kind of person, but yeah, that sentence usually leads up to you saying something so utterly retarded and asshole-ish that you would have gotten called out. So as damage control, you'd say that original sentence beforehand. So what you did was say, I'm a feminist, and I don't want to tell women what to do, but I'm going to tell them what to do anyway because I'm a hypocritical cunt that has no self-awareness whatsoever and cognitive dissonance. That went out the fucking window back when I was younger. But let me delve into this a little bit. When I grew up with a sister, and at no time, I did grow up with an older sister, and at no time did my mother or my patriarchal, cis, white, evil, male, goose-stepping father tell my mother, or my sister rather, that she had to have a child to have a meaningful life. Actually, my mother and my father told my sister the same thing that they told my brother and I. And it's going to hurt your feminist fifis. Live your life how you choose fit and fuck everyone else's opinion. With that said, motherhood is a thing. So is fatherhood. These things are important because it develops the next generation, so we don't have a bunch of fucking retards like you. Now keep in mind, I'll have no issue with a woman doing as she pleases. Don't have kids, I don't fucking care. But at the end of the day, my biggest thing about it is, if you don't have kids, don't fucking reprimand somebody that does have kids. Don't be a fucking cunt. Don't be a lifestyle Nazi. But unlike this cunt, if that choice happens to be motherhood, I'm not going to on the other side of a fucking keyboard because of my feminism. You are the puritanical people that you so condemn. These people these evil right-wingers that you say want to control what women do, you are that fucking person. You're just the exact opposite of it. Take a look in a fucking mirror sometime. On the other side will be a fucking SS uniform wearing Nazi. But God forbid, you actually take a moment and reflect on yourself and actually hold some level of magnitude to the words that you were saying. But anyway, tirade over. Moving on. This is why I cut myself at night. Quote, change the narrative around motherhood, end quote. What fucking narrative? It's pretty set in stone how motherhood works. Or parenting in general for that matter. Regardless if you have dangling between your fucking legs, or lack thereof for that matter. You're up all night. The kid cries, pukes, and poops. Like, it's not fucking rocket science. Do I have to get some YouTube scientists in here to explain it to you? I'm starting to wonder if this writer was the type to try to wedge a square peg in a circle hole, then later in life pretend it was fucking art. God fucking damn it. The cultural conditioning we receive throughout our motherfucker. Yes, that culture that we have that is so terrible, that Western culture that you're living under and prospering under, it's fucking terrible. Do we even have to tear this apart at this point? I feel like I'm fucking Mike Tyson fighting a goddamn midget. Also, you can't create an alternative for motherhood because it's a unique experience. You can't create an alternative for something that, like motherhood. What, you give them a robotic child instead of a real one? There is nothing in this world that you could equate to having a fucking child. But wait, it gets worse. This self-proclaimed feminist using shame to deter a woman from making choices. I can't... What is this timeline? Someone could bludgeon me to death with an Antifa flag, and I would welcome the Grim Reaper with open fucking arms at this point. Humanity had a good run, nuked the fucking planet, dropped the asteroid, Yellowstone blow up. But because I'm a secret masochist, let's have one more hot take before I end it all. Quote, you know who. End quote, oh my fucking god. So Trump is Voldemort. Bitch, can I have some of your weed? Obviously, it's the good shit. As for this, I'm all for cutting aid to countries. Alright? I have no fucking issue whatsoever. I'm not going to be swayed by fucking people asking for the notes of empathy. It's not our fight. It's not our issue. And in my own personal opinion, us sending aid is only giving these countries no reason to evolve, to go into the Industrial Revolution and end up in the same situation that the West is in. But hey, I'm just a massive cunt on the internet, so don't take what I say too seriously. With that, I'm off to eat a fucking bullet. God damn, this is next level fucking retarded. I sort of fucking... God, I'm never fucking breathing. My kid has this problem. I'm gonna fucking drown. I'm gonna drown the fucking baby. Alright, so with that said, that'll do it for this video. It was actually legitimately fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, and it was rather entertaining, and yes, I was drinking the whole time. Come on. Don't look at me that way. This was incredibly retarded, alright? But, as always, links to all relevant things will be in the description box. I hope all of you cunts, if you feel compelled, leave a like and subscribe. And have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, and or night. And I will see you glorious cunts later.